let's go. Now, what we have here is the line 3x plus 2y. I think we did this yesterday. We got all the way down to the simultaneous equation. Okay, well, somebody just indulge me, somebody who obviously got it right. What were the two equations of the line from parts A and B? Sorry, what'd you say? Okay, just give me 1 second with that. I'm reading 3x plus 2y plus 18. I'm reading that as the first one. And I'm reading 2x minus 3y, that's the one you're calling, yep. Minus 14 equals 0. Everybody happy enough with that? Now guys, can anybody tell me, two random lines, how many times will they hit each other? If I draw two lines, how many times will they intersect each other? Unless what? Unless they're parallel. But these ones aren't parallel, they have different slopes, so they're definitely going to intersect once. Now when you're talking about points of intersection, when you're talking about points on a graph, what is a point on a graph? What does it mean? And how do I describe that? X value and a y value. Two values, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a simultaneous equation. I'm going to rewrite this as 3x plus 2y equals minus 18. I'm going to rewrite the other one as 2x minus 3y equals 14. I'm going to choose a letter to get rid of. Which letter would be the ideal choice? I'm going to go with y because y is already negative. You can do either. I just feel like being a bit lazier here. I'm just going to multiply the bottom one by 2 and the top one by 3. Okay? Top 1 by 3, bottom 1 by 2. And we get 9x plus 6y equals minus 54. The other one's going to be 4x minus 6y equals 28. Up. 28. And then, that's a y as well. Take them away from each other and we're going to get 13x equals minus 26. X equals minus 26 divided by 13? Minus 2. Okay. Yeah. If x equals minus 2, lads, we have to find the y value. How do you find the y value? Once you sub it into one of the equations. I'll probably choose... Let's go with that one, yeah? So, we'll go with that one there. So what I get is 2 times minus 2. 2 times minus 2 minus 3y equals 14. Minus 4 minus 3y equals 14. Now, bring the 4 over the other side, minus 3y. It's going to be 14 plus 4 because the minus 4 goes to the other side and comes a plus 4. Minus 3y equals 18, and therefore I'll multiply both sides by minus 1 first, and then I'll divide both sides by 3. Y equals minus 6. Minus 2 minus 6 is the point we're talking about. It's alright. Okay guys, so just a general thing you need to know about slopes, okay? If I was to write a slope of 1 compared to a slope of 3, 3 is the much steeper slope. So what I mean by a slope of 1, if I say a slope equals 1, that means for every 1 meter it goes across, it goes 1 meter up. If I spoke to you about a slope of 3, what does that mean? 1 across, 3 up. It's a much steeper slope. Likewise, if I spoke to you about a slope of minus 3, it's 1 across and 3 down, so it's actually quite a steep slope. If I spoke to you about a slope of, let's say, minus a half as an example, slope of minus a half, what that would mean is for every 2 you go across, you go 1 down. What's the general gist? The bigger the number, the steeper it is. The smaller the number, As in, the smaller it gets to the value of 0, the flatter it is. Okay? So here's what we're going to do. Let's get rid of all this gibberish, and let's have a look at let's have a look at the easy marks. Okay? What's the steepest slope you see? Steepest positive slope you see? Huh? K, which is 2. What is the level slope you see? The one that goes flat? L. What is the strongest negative slope you see? N. And that leaves, what's the only other negative slope you see? J. And the other one has to be M. K, M, L, J, N. Good with that? Okay. Now, I didn't like that one. I think I like that one. Or that one. Yeah. Okay. Draw these 4 points on a diagram. Get lots of marks for doing practically nothing. So, 6 minus 1. There. 12 minus 3. There. A. B. Now, what's next? C. 8, 5. D. 2, 7. If I was to link them together, what type of object would I have? Parallelogram. How do you guys know that this particular object is in fact a parallelogram? Okay, they're parallel and they're both the same size. So as an example, this red line here is the same length as that red line there. Blue line here is the same length as the blue line there. Everybody happy with that? How would you therefore check this is a parallelogram? We'll do that in 1 second. You are right. Okay. What about what I've just drawn here? What could you do? You could find the slope of the 2 blue lines, and you'd have to be really specific about the letters. Okay. So what I would say is this. Now you have to write this underneath. So you have to write 2 different methods for proving that it's a parallelogram. Now here's what I would go for. Okay. You could do, first of all, you could check that the slope of, that's C, is it? Check that the slope of AD is the same as the slope of BC. Then check that the slope of DC is the same as the slope of AB. Then it's not enough just to do that. You should. That's one. Sorry. It is enough just to do that. Just do all 4 slopes. You have 2 pairs of 2 slopes. That work perfectly. I can't make another object that isn't a parallelogram that does that, unless it has 5 or 6 sides. I can't make another 4-sided object that does that. Another way you could do it is you could measure the length. You could calculate the length of all 4 sides. And some of you might be saying, like, I could say the length of DC is the length of AB. You say, oh look, that could be a rectangle though. Like the rectangle has 2 lengths that are the same size. But do you know what I'm saying? All rectangles are parallelograms. All squares are parallelograms. A parallelogram is simply a 4-sided object where 2 of the sides are the same length and 2 of the other sides are also the same length. Squares and rectangles are subcategories of parallelograms. In the same way, being a subcategory of being a human being is somebody with dark hair. You understand? You're still a human being. You're still in that category. So parallelogram is a wider category than squares and rectangles. Does that make sense? Cameron? Okay, let me have a look at that at the end, okay? You're going to describe another method for doing it. How do you do the other methods? Yeah? Okay, so what you're basically describing is you're describing slopes as well via translations. Okay. Another way I might recommend it is that you could cut the graph in half, and you have a blue triangle, and you could also have, for argument's sake, a red triangle. What can you say about the blue and red triangle? they're going to be equal in size if it's a parallelogram. So you could write that down verbally. Get the area of the triangle ACD, get the triangle of CAB, prove that both triangles are the same size. That will work. Can anybody give me another way of doing it? Alright, I'm gonna do the other way of doing it, but I'm not gonna speak the words for it. You gotta tell me what words would you use. And as it turns out, this here is the midpoint of DB, and it's also the midpoint of AC. I'd argue that you could get the midpoint of AC, get the midpoint of the diagonals, and the midpoint of the diagonals will be the same point. This means it's a parallelogram. That also works for a rectangle, and that also works for a square. Right? So you could do that as well. So you have to describe two ways. That's describing two ways. Now, one of them you actually have to do. Which one would you choose to do? Which is the easiest one to do? The slopes. Okay, slopes are the easiest ones to do. If I remember, guys, we have to get the slopes here. So what do you recommend we do here? Slope formula. When I'm correcting stuff, just please. Okay. Slope of. Let's start with slope DC. Now this is going to be an absolute pain. You have to do the slope formula so many different times. Okay, so slope of DC is, you can probably help me out the answer in a minute. Yeah, part C, yeah. 5 minus 7 divided by 8 minus 2 is minus a third. Slope of AB. Anybody get slope of AB? Minus a third as well. So that's one set of slopes that are the same. So we get 12 minus 6 over minus 3 plus 1. That once again is minus a third. Now I'm on the next ones. I have to get the slope of AD. And then once I get the slope of AD, I then have to get the slope of what do I have to get after AD, lads? BC. What's the slope of AD? AD. I'm going to go for 7 plus 1 all over 2 minus 6. Is it minus 2? Yeah, it's a negative slope, isn't it? So it's minus 2. You can actually do it really quickly like this. 2 down, 1 across. Minus 2. First easy rise over run there. So equals minus 2. And then the other one, slope of BC, is minus 3 plus 1 all over is it 12 minus 6? I'm doing BC, haven't I? 12 minus 8. Did I do it upside down or something? No, I think I got it wrong. Ah. Yeah, it's 5 plus 3. Yeah, that's where I got it. So I go again, guys. 5 plus 3 all over 8 minus 12 is minus 2. For every formula there, guys, I'm just using y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. The slope formula. When you guys did that in class, there wasn't any problems. Okay, it's just actually doing all 4 of them is the problem. Okay. Yes. Now, what would be the first thing you do here, Deck, to solve this question here? So how do I do it? When I get what? Yeah. 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 Yeah, good man. What do you do next? Yeah. Minus 3x plus 35. Yeah, perfect. Next. Okay, I have the same thing, just the opposite way around. Same thing though. Okay, I got minus 3x equals 15. I'd multiply both sides by minus 1 to get what that got, and then divide it by 3 to get minus 5. Everybody alright with that? Now, what does verify an answer mean? Verify an answer. Make sure it's right. And what proves it's right? If you replace x with your answer, they should equal each other. So technically speaking, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do 2 bracket 4 minus 3 times minus 5 plus 12 equals 7 times minus 5 minus 5 bracket 2 bracket minus 5 minus 7. What has basically happened there is this: anywhere, well, that's pretty big. Anywhere there's an x, it's been replaced with a minus 5. Okay? And then that's verifying your answer. And then you got to work it out. Use the calculator. I'm going to get something like 38 plus 12 on this side, which is going to get me 50 on the left hand side. And on the right hand side, I'm going to have minus 35. That's going to be minus 17 by minus 5, which is going to be plus 85. Minus 35 plus 85, 50. You get 50 equals 50. And that's your answer verified. It balances. Okay. Good with that? Pause for a sec. Guys, is basically this one here, but what I did was I changed it around a little bit. I said that it's a circle. X squared plus y squared equals 25, and I said it's a line. I said it's the line x plus y minus 7 equals 0, and more than likely the line will cross the circle twice. See, because we covered the circle chapter, I wanted that question to cover both algebra and the circle in one go. I didn't want to just give you an algebra question. So that's why I changed up the language a little bit on it. 2 for 1 basically, okay? As opposed to just randomly throwing in questions. So what we're going to do here is you get one letter on its own. So I'm going to get x on its own. So I'm going to get x equals 7 minus y. How many people did that? X equals 7 minus y. Or minus y plus 7. I'll do it that way. You guys, yeah. How many of you guys did that? That's pass already. That's a pass mark just by doing that one step on a question like this. Okay, get you pass straight away. Now the next part, Jack, it's written as the circle x squared plus y squared equals 25. Just differently written. Next part after that is I have to substitute it in. Anywhere I see x, I have to put in minus 7 plus minus y plus 7. Please remember, more than likely there's going to be 2 answers, and when there's 2 answers, what's going to happen is you're going to have 2 x values and you're going to have 2 y values, and they will represent the 2 points we're talking about. Okay, so what we can get here is this. We'll get what's it, x squared, which is minus y plus 7 squared plus y squared equals 25. What's the next step, guys? Ben, next step? From here, this part here. Yeah. 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 After that? Yeah, get you? And now multiplying? Yeah. 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 The other y squared. And what about this 25? And then what happens? Then, how many y squares do we have, Lee? 2y squared. How many y's do I have? Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Plus 24, yep, sorry about that. Any number that will divide into all three? Sorry? 2. Y squared minus 7y plus 12. What's the reference number? Go for Daniel. Reference number? 12. It is 12. Oscar, what are the two factors of 12 that will make minus 7? Well done. Then after that, what do we do next? And then after that, y equals 4, y equals 3. Or the missing step, y minus 4 equals 0, bring the 4 over. Y minus 3 equals 0, bring the 3 over. Y equals 4, y equals 3. Okay. What next? Sub them in. And what do I sub them in into? Minus y plus 7. And then after that, minus 4 plus 7, x equals 3. That is the point 3, 4. Remember, it's x equals whatever the y value is. Sorry, minus whatever the y value is plus 7. So minus whatever the y value is, put it in, then add on 7. So what happens after that then? It's going to be minus 3 times plus 7. That's going to be 4. So the other answer is going to be 4, 3. 3, 4 and 4, 3. Okay.